Hi everyone. I'm on here because I'm kind of frustrated today. It seems like I'll get something going, I'll think that it's going where it needs to go, and I'm back where I started again. And I'm beginning to wonder if I need to share something that puts me in an extremely vulnerable place. Because once I share it, I can't take it back. It's kind of like toothpaste. Once it comes out of the tube, you can't put it back. It's really hard to put back. That said, usually when people compare things coming out of toothpaste, they're talking about bullying, and this is not anywhere remotely close to bullying because this is about loving people enough to get real and raw with them and not caring what they think. So I'm going to read what I wrote that's attached to this picture because I know if I share it, some of you are just going to go to the picture and not read what came with it, and I think the words need to go with it. So it says, what's for sale? Beauty, grace, love, strength, truth. That is what is behind the artist's intentions. Where some may see ugly scars, the artist sees beauty in the story. Where some see weakness, the artist transformed that to strength. Where some see an opportunity to take advantage or project their own opinions, the artist intended a gut-wrenching truth. Where some see sex, the artist intended love. Where some see something for sale, the artist intended a priceless grace that cannot be bought. The scars came at a cost that the subject did not ask for. No one begs to be a member of the Pink Sisters, yet once you're in the club, you discover a treasure of beautiful souls. They come into the club searching for purpose in the unsolicited that has been set upon their laps. As they settle in, they see women coming in behind them, and there is their purpose. The unfamiliar audience may see suffering, and they're right. Yet, if you look closer, you will see women building each other up. You will see unity, and you will see solidarity. Love is in her eyes, and though it is love for her husband and may turn into sex with him off camera, she offers you the love of a friend. With love comes vulnerability. The only true love out there requires vulnerability. The love everyone is truly after is the love that requires vulnerability. It comes at a cost, but that is why it is so precious. It requires vulnerability from all parties involved. What you will not see is the story between her and her husband, their vulnerability, his strength that he lent her when she wasn't sure she could go on, when she needed his help through cancer treatments, his redemption for her when she thought she was not redeemable. He loved her, though she came to him with flaws. He loves her still, though she has so many scars. He risked losing her, yet he still loved her. He still risks losing her, but he pays that price. Love that is truly worth it requires a risk of being misunderstood, cheapened, taken for something you're not, and being willing to let go when the time comes. Hopefully in death, and not because they just grew apart. Nakedness, vulnerability. I offer all that I have that you may know how much I love you. The truth is that the subject the artist rendered is not what the naysayers say it is, and it is not what the perverted try to use for their own selfish gain. It is not the subject being misguided, it is the naysayer who is misguided. The truth is that what these negative people project is part of them, and not the subject and the art. I see that now, and I move forward, not looking to others for approval. God is my approval. Grace is what the artist rendered, when the subject posed anyway, knowing some might cheapen the intentions. The artist rendered anyway. The outcome was priceless. You cannot buy the beauty. It just is. The strength is up to you to emulate. The love is offered in hopes that you will see the truth and break free to borrow the strength and beauty until you make strength and beauty your own. My story is too long to truly confine to a few pages, but it follows along the premises of beauty, strength, love, truth, and grace. My story is not finished, but it is God's story that I am a part of. He is a story of beauty. He is everything we see. We are his raw emotion, emotions reflected in his creation. He became even more beautiful when he made himself vulnerable as a child, in a world that was too busy for him, in a world that had no room for him, and where some even wanted to kill him because he threatened the status quo. Many cheapened him along his way to the cross, beating him, spitting on him, placing a crown of thorns upon his head, stripping him of his dignity and mocking him. He made himself omnipotent and omnipresent. When I shared my pictures, most appreciated the beauty and left it at that. Yet some cheapened my intentions, reflecting their thoughts and experiences rather than just appreciating it for the art that it simply is. But that's okay, because God is with me. He tells me he was beautiful but cheapened, beautiful but misunderstood, beautiful and stripped of his dignity, beautiful and mocked. He did all that for me so I could see his love. The least I can do is have a spirit of obedience and be his subject in his art. I can present myself as beauty. Beauty just is. It is others who will try to cheapen it, yet beautiful it will remain. You can borrow my beauty just as I had to borrow his beauty to see mine. His strength is where I borrowed my strength. When I thought I couldn't take another day of treatment, he was there. He was there before I even existed, praying in the Garden of Gethsemane for the cup of death and degradation to pass over him. Because he too was scared. I knew it was okay to be scared, yet he also got up and obeyed God's call. So I got up and moved out of my fear and into his purpose. I borrow his strength. He gave me hope when he was the healer. Whether I be healed here on earth or healed into my perfect body in heaven. That gave me strength. He was betrayed by one of his closest friends, and I ran across some friends who cheapened what I went through and what I offered on the other side. Some simply do not understand. He was beaten, he was mocked, he was stripped of his dignity. Though others tried to kill him, his true spirit and message could not be killed. I draw my strength from this. Here I am at my most vulnerable, naked for the possible world to see, just as Christ was. Some will try to pervert his image, just as some will do the same with mine. However, they won't be able to destroy my soul. What they do will only reflect back upon them. If you do not have strength, I lend you my strength, just as I lean on his strength. I borrow his love. He did not have to make himself vulnerable for us. He was perfectly fine behind his pearly gates, yet he did love us, so much in fact that he came down as a vulnerable baby, dependent on others for his physical needs. He continued risking his love throughout his life, risking his life in the process when he threatened the status quo. He challenged us, if we be without flaws, to cast the first stone. He risked his life for prostitutes and tax collectors, and those who projected their preconceived notions upon him rather than just leave his message to be his message. He allowed others to beat him, mock him, and strip him. I borrow his love when I am stripped before you, vulnerable to the world, to show those who are broken that they are still beautiful and strong and true. Some feel like I threaten their status quo. I challenge their preconceived notions. Some will pervert my intentions, but that is them reflecting their own issues upon me. Christ has already been through this. I borrowed his love so I could love you. You can borrow my love so you can love yourself and others. The last two elements of this story are grace and truth. And I borrowed grace and truth from God so I could lend them to you until you can feel grace and truth in yourself to lend them to others around you. God did not have to do anything for us. I did not have to bear myself to you. God had a message, and I have a message. We cannot pay him anything for what he did for us. It was just given, just as my exposure for you to see his love through me is given to you. Some will cheapen his grace. His grace still stands. Some will deny his grace, trying to work on their own accord. They will choose negativity and the weight of the world over giving Christ the load to bear. I chose grace when I suffered through my cancer treatments. so I could face my struggles with joy and a smile rather than allow myself to remain in the depths of despair. Today I continue to choose joy and freedom in Christ, abiding in His perfect love to get me through each day. Life will not take my joy. You can borrow my grace until it is your own, leaning on my smile as I leaned on Christ's joy. Truth, you can choose to see this as what it is: beauty, grace, love, strength, and truth. Or you can choose to see it as ugliness, sex, weakness, and something to cheapen for your selfish purposes. However, the truth is what the art will remain. However, the truth is that the art will remain what the artist rendered, and nothing less. I will say that again. The truth is what the art. The truth is that the art will remain what the artist rendered, and nothing less. It's what the artist created, not what you project. Thank you.